Dear John, I just can't stand it anymore. It is important for you to take the time to read this letter so that you understand my decision. I met Steve 6 months ago at a conference in Denver. I still don't know what happened or why. Maybe it was the thin Colorado air combined with a little wine at our dinner, but the truth is that I ended up in bed with this young man. I had no right to do this. Steve was too young for me, as he was only in his early 30s and I was 45. And there was also the slight issue of the wedding ring I was wearing when he dragged me into his bedroom. I can't tell you it was nothing. He was an attentive lover with great endurance. Sex with him was simply amazing. I'm not putting you down because you're a great lover too, but Steve was different. That's why I couldn't let him go. If it had only been one mistake, I could have hidden the truth and learned to live with my guilt while basking in your arms. Memories of this meeting would fade with time. But I was too crazy after that roll in the hay, and I needed more. Steve was completely willing to give me more. By the time you found out about my affair, we had already met 4 times, including that first time in Denver. The glimmer of novelty was fading, and we were going to let it fade. I don't know if this was our last meeting, but it was already too late. I didn't need to tell you about this. I know that my lies about late meetings or going away for the weekend have already doomed me. Now I understand that we knew each other too well. It was impossible to hide what changed our lives so much. This mutual knowledge also meant that when you kicked open the motel room door and found us in bed, I knew it was over between us as husband and wife. Your face was an open book, and I read disgust, hatred, and great sadness. Seeing you at the door, I realized that the life I loved and adored was over. I watched you beat Steve without surprise. For a few moments, I was scared and wanted you to do the same to me. I'm sure it was justified. But you didn't. You just left me there in that dirty motel room where I belonged. What I didn't know or even imagine was how the children would react. It was already difficult to realize that the person I loved so much now hated me. My shame and guilt were overwhelming, and your rightful hatred crushed me. But my children's rejection was impossible to cope with. I went from having everything to having nothing. I had a loving and caring husband. I had 2 loving children who were already showing themselves to the world. And now, I have nothing left. You are not responsible for my actions. It's all me. Be that as it may, I'm very sorry. I love you and will continue to love you until my last breath. Tell the children that I understand their reaction and that I still love them very much. But if it's hard to even think about living without you, my love, then just thinking about living without the love of my children becomes unbearable. That's when I remembered what you told me when I asked what I could do to earn your forgiveness. Well, I did it. Yours forever, Martha. John reread the last paragraph again, unable to remember what he said to his wife. When he walked into the house, he immediately knew his ex-wife was there when he saw a bunch of photos of him and the kids on the coffee table in the living room. When he went upstairs, he found her dead in their bed, with an empty bottle of pills in one hand and a letter addressed to him in the other. He bent over her dead body, struggling to remember that fateful last meeting, when it dawned on him what she was talking about. Then he said so many disgusting things. He leaned over Martha and heard an unpleasant odor coming from her breath. Yes, indeed, he smelled feces. He shouldn't have said, "Eat shit and die." Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one.